Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Kari Osep, and this is Cronkite Sports on Fox Sports Arizona. As sports journalists from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, we aim to bring you stories you haven't heard before. Whether you're interested in high school, professional, or just sports in general, we have something for you. Now let's kick things off by bringing in Cronkite's Los Angeles Sports Bureau reporter Josh Franz. He joins us live now with an inside look at the journey of one baseball player who started in Arizona and is now living out his dream in Southern California. Josh?
Thanks, Kari. ASU baseball has sent dozens of players to the major leagues, including two of the best of all time, Reggie Jackson and Barry Bonds. I had the privilege of sitting down with ASU's most recent success story. Here's how Kole Calhoun became the 100th Sun Devil to play Major League Baseball.
Getting the opportunity to actually put on that jersey and go play in Packard and be part of two teams that went to the College World Series, being a #1 national seed team, it was just big. It's just something that you take pride in. I get to say that I'm a Sun Devil now, and all the accolades that they get to be part of going forward in the future, like I was part of that tradition.
It was always Kole's dream to put on the maroon and gold, but it was a long journey that made Kole into a Sun Devil outfielder.
I was born in Tempe, grew up in Phoenix for first 14 years of my life, and then my family went and my parents bought some land out in Buckeye, and so I went to high school out there.
An all-state quarterback and electric outfielder, Kole was a two-sport star in high school.
Baseball was my #1 passion. That's always been my dream, my goals and stuff. So it was never football was just kind of fun. I was okay, but I was short, man. I was a quarterback and I could throw the football, but I didn't have a future there.
Kole seemingly made the right decision, but it wasn't his athletic ability alone that took him to the big stage.
He's just wired for success. He's not going to take no for an answer.
After a successful high school career, Kole had to pick where he wanted to play college ball. His first stop was not to Tempe, to play for then-assistant Tim Esme.
I had talked with Esme when I was in high school, and it just never really panned out to be a really good situation where I felt like this is where I can go and start and really help a team. So junior college was a great bet for me.
Kole spent 2 years at Yavapai College, where he took his game to the next level and got the attention of former Sun Devils head coach Pat Murphy.
I definitely wanted to play for ASU, but I had to wait a little bit. And but when Murph came calling and offered me a scholarship, I mean, there was no hesitation. I tried to act like the tough guy, but that was always a lifelong goal of mine. And yeah, when I got the opportunity, I jumped all over it.
An additional advantage was sharing a clubhouse with future major leaguers Mike Leake and Ike Davis.
I was looking up to guys that I even played with. Like Leake, I loved watching. Ike was a big player. You just kind of like look up. These guys are going to the College World Series, and it's just like, man, I've watched this growing up, and when I got an opportunity to be a part of it, like I said, jumped all over it.
Kole looked up to great players on the field, but it was his role models off of the field that helped him stay focused on baseball.
His parents are very passionate. They love the game of baseball. They love Kole. His dad, I mean, I'm a parent, I got little girls and stuff, and I know that they're just on cloud nine that their son plays Major League Baseball.
They have been through it all with me, you know, from taking me to tournaments and all the sacrifices they made on weekends. I mean, all our vacations, all their vacation time was based around baseball, and for my sisters as well. I mean, my family's such a big support base that, you know, without them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Today, Kole is a starter in right field for the Angels, the team that had the most wins in Major League Baseball this season. There's just one thing he'd like for everybody to remember.
I'm just a kid that loves to play the game. You know, I don't really, I'm not some big superstar or anything like that, but I got a chance to achieve my goals and reach my dream. I mean, I got my dream job. I get to play baseball for a living. So extremely lucky and blessed, and I hope everybody knows that.
Kole Calhoun, Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and the rest of the Angels look to turn their regular season success into a World Series win. Kole added that if the situation is right, one day he wouldn't mind suiting up for his hometown Diamondbacks.
Thanks, Josh. Coming up on Cronkite Sports, we feature an Arizona gymnast who is positioning herself for the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio. And later, we look into a much talked about sports injury that actually affects female athletes more than males. Welcome back to Cronkite Sports on Fox Sports Arizona. I'm joined now by Cronkite Sports reporter Ariana Graney. Ariana, most people only watch gymnastics every 4 years during the Olympics, but as we all know, they don't stop competing.
That's right, Kari. Elite gymnasts spend at least 30 hours a week training. I caught up with local gymnast Michaela Skinner to see what kind of preparation goes into training for an Olympic opportunity.
You're seeing what Michaela Skinner sees every day. Dizzying turns on a balance beam just 4 inches wide. Skinner just returned from the Pan Am Games, winning 4 gold medals.
The most exciting part at Pan Am's is definitely winning all around. Usually I just am on individual events, so it was really cool to be able to improve myself and make the all around in gold.
Skinner trains at Desert Lights Gymnastics in Chandler. She's working towards a spot on the U.S. team at the Summer Olympics in Rio in 2016. And she's focused on the next step, including being invited to train for the World Selection Camp with famous coach Bella Paroli.
Definitely just hard work every day in the gym, and then I just have to go to camp and just look as good as I did at Pan Am, so hopefully I can make the world team and then just do good at Worlds.
Skinner's coach, Lisa Spini, will go with her to the Caroli Ranch in Houston and try to help her as she competes for a spot on the team.
It's great. It's just, I mean, it was a lot of hard work, years of hard work getting here. And it's, of course, been our goal for the last several years with her.
All that hard work includes Michaela Skinner spending hours on her favorite event,
Just like to be a daredevil and throw big skills, and it's just what I like to do.
Spini saw potential in Skinner very early on.
Since she's been on the national team, we looked at the skills she was doing and we thought she had a chance to do it.
Michaela Skinner has been training at Desert Lights for over 7 years. It's basically her home away from home, spending an average of 30 hours a week there. And having a potential Olympian has been great for the gym as well.
It's something for the little kids to look up to.
Lisa's husband, John, retired from the ASU gymnastics team to focus on their own gym.
I'm trying to, come over and enjoy it.
Olympic training may be relatively new to Skinner. It is not new to the Spini husband and wife team.
1976 we had the USA national champion and Olympian.
Now, almost 40 years later, Michaela Skinner is ready to be the next Olympian.
Ariana, you mentioned in your story that Michaela was training for the world team. How did that go?
She made the team, and as a team they brought home gold, and then individually she brought home bronze on vault. And she just recently signed her national letter of intent to the University of Utah.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Ariana. And coming up next on Cronkite Sports, for one athlete, every hit matters.
And it could take that one time to cause that big problem, and it could affect you for the rest of your life.
And later, we introduce you to the quarterback who helped coin the term Jail Mary.
I was going up for a header, and the other player hit me right in the back of the head.
I had to hold onto the wall when I would walk for a couple days, and it was horrible.
We've had players that have been out for significant amounts of time and gone through symptoms where you just feel awful for them.
And I know if he's anything like me when he grows up, he's going to want to be out there on the field. I want better protection for him than my generation had.
What connects these individuals? Concussions. Something that has been in recent conversation, especially in football. But what most people don't know is that female soccer players are more at risk. Behind football, soccer is the leading cause for concussions. And according to cleartoplay.org, female high school soccer players suffer 40% more concussions than males. That's 29,000 annually. And for one of these players, Alex Dugan, concussions are all too familiar.
My first concussion was from getting hit in the head like several times. So I would wake up and was so dizzy and it was black. I finally said something to my mom because I was like, that's not normal. But it was like a few days. My parents always say, don't let your kid play goalkeeper because you're always constantly getting kicked and smacked in the head. It's just you're diving at people's feet. It's constant. And what am I going to do? I'm an athlete. I'm taught to push through it and go. And then my final concussion was the worst concussion ever. I was seeing black. I had a player help me up. I was the only goalkeeper. And my coach said, you be careful what you tell the trainer. And I just remember thinking, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And you're telling me to be careful with what I say to the trainer? This is my brain. That was the first time I really thought, this is serious.
What people don't understand is that the future is just living, and I think living in general, if you've had the head injuries, it's going to make everything way worse. And it could take that one time to cause that big problem, and it could affect you for the rest of your life.
Janelle DeBaca, former player and current coach, also learned from her concussions. Lessons she now teaches her players.
Basically said, screw it, I'm not really going to consult the trainer, I'm going to play my last game. And then I was taking the headers and I was kind of feeling a little sick, and then right at the end I took one and I just fell over and I was just kind of like, oh, I can't even do this anymore. And I think I kind of learned the hard way that I shouldn't have let that be in my control, because I think if I would have just had that one concussion in the first place, as opposed to having two within 2 weeks, I think it would have had way less effect on me. And it's good for me to know now as a coach. If I were to know someone did have concussion, I would be more careful and I wouldn't let them take it in their own hands and just be like, hey, I'm fine, other than seeing a doctor, being completely cleared, because I wouldn't want what happened to me to happen to them.
One medical professional shares how females are more at risk.
In any sport, the reason why you get a concussion is because the brain moves around within the skull. It's not from the actual impact itself. The female neck is just a little bit weaker than the male neck in general, and so that's the reason why, again, because of that shifting that they have within the brain within the skull, what causes them maybe to be a little more prone to having concussions than a man. That's the part that people don't understand, and that we're trying to educate coaches, educate the players, and trying to at least do something to make the sport a little bit safer.
I think from an overall soccer coach's perspective, there's more and more attention and demands and protocols being passed down even to youth coaches out there. All sports have something you have to learn and develop, and it's part of becoming a better athlete, and I think it still helps develop the person as a whole. A big part of it's education, teaching, and development and technique. Football does it and wrestling does it, but what other sports actively do neck strengthening exercises? We do. And we've added that in, and we've actually increased it this year. So I know we're on the right path.
Continuing on that right path, a new technology company has created their own solution, something that goes beyond coaching technique and strength training.
47% of athletes who sustain a concussion don't self-report any symptoms. So we want to get those players off of the field, and we felt that a visual light indication was the best way to call attention to those players.
This visual light indicator is called the Fit Guard, and it's a mouth guard that measures the force of an impact to help coaches and trainers determine if an athlete has endured a concussion. Different colored lights reflect the severity of the impact, with red being the worst.
You can use our smartphone application to program in your age, gender, and weight, because the research that we've done has shown that males and females have a different sensitivity to concussions, so we want each device to be sensitive enough for the user. And it's going to create a log of the impacts that the mouthguard registers over the course of a game, a week, a season. We want to be able to provide that data to the doctors who are out there researching concussions so that we can start to draw some meaningful conclusions using quantitative data.
On top of this new technology that is set to launch early next summer, people like athletic trainer Bryce Nalepa at the Banner Concussion Center have their own methods for helping athletes.
We look at their eyes, we look at their vestibular system, and we try to look at their cognitive ability and try to bring all those parts together to determine what's affected and what maybe we can help them with in order to get them back to the field or back to school or back to life. You know, as much as we know about concussions now, that's come a long way in the last 5 years, there's still so much that we don't know. That's where the next challenge is for all of us as we move forward in this field.
And for someone who loves the sport of soccer, the risks are well worth it.
Sports are something that's so amazing. And I don't regret one bit of my injuries or playing soccer. It taught me more than anything. People tend to look at women as weaker, and we're anything but that.
According to womensportsfoundation.org and a ranking of high school and college sports on the basis of concussions as a percentage of all injuries, women's soccer ranked highest along with women's basketball. And I can attest to the high risk of concussions. While playing soccer on club teams and in high school, I suffered at least 5 concussions. And after each injury, I was back on the field the next day. No baseline test, no doctor visits. So it's good to know that coaches and doctors are addressing concussions in all sports, not just football. Coming up next on Cronkite Sports on Fox Sports Arizona, we talk to the player who was a part of a play that will go down in ASU history. Welcome back. We are joined again by Josh Franz at Cronkite's Los Angeles Sports Bureau. Josh, unlike Kole Calhoun, who went from ASU to the majors with the Angels, our next story deals with an LA native who found a home in Tempe.
That's right, Kari. Mike Bercovici was raised just over the hill in the San Fernando Valley, but the first school that recruited him was Arizona State. He's been a Sun Devil ever since and hasn't looked back. But we do.
Oh, go kiddo, come on, honey. Look at you!
When Michael was real young, I had him play football for the Westlake Braves. They won what they call the PYFL Super Bowl. I was his offensive coordinator, but every time I'd call a play and we'd signal it from the sideline, he'd never call the play that I told him to because he was the manager. He knew what he wanted to do, and then he'd call whatever he wanted. And most of the time, his plays worked over mine.
Me and my dad used to get in fights over what plays should be called and whatnot, and just waking up in the morning, having those 8 a.m. games, waking up, my dad would make me breakfast at 6 a.m., way too early to be up at 6 a.m. for being an 8-year-old or whatever the case is. But I know I'm a better play caller than my dad, but he'll never tell you that.
Calabasas, California, the town that plays host to Justin Bieber, The Rock, and the Kardashians, is the same one that a certain ASU quarterback was born and raised in. With all of his material needs seemingly taken care of, what accounts for Mike Bercovici's ambition?
When you give him something to study or to learn, he's like a sponge. He will continue to learn until he perfects it. And I don't care whether it's whether it's a football game, video games, checkers, chess. If you want to play him in checkers, you better watch out because he's going to study and learn the game so he can beat you every single time.
Whether I'm playing pool or ping pong or whatever it is, I don't like losing.
Whether it was ignoring his dad's play calls or pumping up his teammates, Michael played the role of vocal leader from the time he picked up a football.
Number 2, Michael Bercovici with the touchdown.
We would go to camps and there would be a kid that's 5 years older than him, and he'd get in their face and tell them what to do, like not shy in any way.
Michael started his high school career at Westlake, but transferred to Taft High School 2 games into his junior season. He wasn't getting any playing time.
It was the best moment in Michael's life. And that moment was playing for Matt Kerstetter at Taft High School. And I got to tell you, that changed everything for Michael.
I built a relationship with him unlike any coach I've ever had. I mean, I think I sacrificed every single one of my lunches in high school to meet with him and watch film and prepare for an opportunity like this. And so that's why I would say it's the greatest move of my life. Just the relationship I have with my coach and the players on that team was unlike anything I've ever been a part of.
As a senior, Michael broke 5 single-season Taft passing records. He graduated early and left for Tempe. After losing the quarterback battle to Taylor Kelly as a freshman, supposed experts thought Michael might transfer, but his loyalty to the Sun Devils prevailed.
He said, "Dad, here's what I think. I would rather play for ASU for 1 year than play for anyone else in the country."
With a Hail Mary win over USC in the Coliseum and a victory over Stanford's nationally ranked number 2 defense, his heroics seem like something from a Hollywood script. But for Michael Bercovici, it's just part of his story.
That's not the end of the Mike Bercovici story. He'll be back next fall as a redshirt senior and is in line for that one starting season he told his dad about. Mike had 10 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions in the 3 games he started this year. Sun Devil fans hope that's a sign of things to come. That's all from Los Angeles. Kari, now back to you in Phoenix.
Well, that will do it. For everyone at Cronkite Sports on Fox Sports Arizona and both our Phoenix and LA bureaus, I'm Kari Osep. Thanks for joining us.